Welcome to another episode of Sons of Thunder. And my co host Sean, what is our topic for today?
Okay, well, it's one of two things, however you want to call it. I'm saying pro Hamas groups are idiots, or the left's Looney love affair with Hamas.
I like the dual topic we got here.
It's all the same, I think.
This is a kind of like a part two of the Israel Hamas video we did a little way back. But this is more reaction of like the aftermath, right? It's not so much about the war; it's about the effects of people after or during the war, right?
It's certain groups and people on the left have just seemed to have gone crazy over this Hamas stuff.
Yeah.
Because of the war and because of that breaking out over there, they're in favor of Hamas for reasons that I just don't understand.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. And so we thought we'd bring that kind of to you. You guys can make sense of it as we make sense with it because we don't understand some of this stuff either.
Certainly not. And well, for instance, though, this is one of the groups that it doesn't make any kind of sense to me. You have climate change activists.
Okay.
Somehow, these people, for reasons beyond comprehension, seem to link the pro-Palestinian cause with saving the earth. I mean,
okay.
yeah. How is being pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas, gonna lower the Earth's temperature by a degree?
What, global warming is gonna rise because they're fighting? Maybe I don't
know.
That doesn't even connect.
It makes no sense. But climate activists such as Greta Thunberg.
How dare you?
And her friends. Did you see?
Yeah, that woman. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know who that
Greta
woman was.
Thunberg. Yeah.
Greta Thunberg.
Well, you were under a rock. She was pretty popular for a while.
Yeah, well, I'm always under a rock.
Okay. Her and her pals were recently seen at an Amsterdam rally chanting "No climate justice on occupied land." A chant which defies explanation. What does that mean? No climate justice on occupied land.
So there's climate justice on non-occupied land?
Right.
That doesn't make what? This doesn't make any sense.
Well, no, it doesn't.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't this just people trying to get involved into a big situation to put their endeavors and their emotions and what they want to support into that situation that doesn't even include it?
Well, these people are all very excitable and they get excited about things. And I guess this is something big that's going on and they got to hitch their wagon to it. Something like that.
Well, as you can tell, I'm big about the Miami Heat, but I'm not going to add how the Miami Heat win or lose off of the war in Hamas. And right? I mean, that's stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't think the bookies would take that bet.
They might. They might.
Okay. But I mean, at any rate, that defies explanation. And I've looked into it. I've tried to find some kind of reasonable explanation of why these groups, the climate activists, want to tie themselves to Hamas. And I don't get it. And I can't find it. I've seen nothing. But there's another group it's even worse, I think, that they're allying themselves with Hamas. And that is Queers for Palestine. If you could bring that up, Chucky.
Queers for Palestine. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, it's either gays for Palestine, LGBTQ for Palestine, whichever way, it makes about as much sense as chickens for KFC or salmon for sushi.
Yeah, and if you think about it, this is kind of just another thing of, well, we want to push an agenda. There's an agenda going over there. We are the oppressed. They're the oppressed. We're going to help the oppressed fight for the oppressed. It's like but these things don't go together, right?
No, they don't go together at all. It's bizarre. And you have to, I mean, Hamas does not tolerate, let alone like, gay, queer, LGBTQ people. They do not. And part of the reason has to do, I think it's cultural, but it also has to do with Sharia law.
Yeah, so Sharia law we're going to be talking about that during this episode. And you're going to hear it more when you hear about the Israel and Hamas and Palestine. Sharia law is something that you need to understand. If you don't understand even a little bit about it, then you're kind of in the dark, which I think most of these groups are,
Oh yeah,
right?
they certainly
They
are.
can't know what Sharia law is.
They're dark about a lot of things, but they know nothing
They're
about
just going to
Sharia.
support people that
How
they think
dare
need to
you.
be supported for no reason whatsoever, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so Sharia law is the Islam's legal system. It's what the Islamic people follow. Now, I will tell you this, that they want to follow it, but some are more strict at following it than others.
Right.
So, I mean, if you really take it as any religion, you can be very strong at following that religion or very weak at following that religion. But Sharia law does some things that you might not even want to be aligned with, especially if you don't know what's going on. So, just for the information aspect and for understanding what they follow, it's derived from the Quran, which is their holy book, and these are teachings and sayings and things to follow from people that are in Muslim culture. The big one is their prophet Muhammad, who I put in quotes prophet, but we could have a whole episode on just him because there's a lot when it comes to him. But Sharia law is like a way of acting and living. If you're not sure how to come to a situation, you would go to the Sharia law, and the Muslim community or the people that follow Sharia law will tell you, well, the Quran says this, or the Quran would suggest this, so you act this way. And Sharia law covers a lot of Muslim countries, and a lot of the people that go against things that the Western world, as they would say, are for, right?
Absolutely, my friend. And I would like to point out some of the people living under it, what they have to go through. If I can have a minute here, there's a man named Ahmed, I think.
Ahmed?
Ahmed. Oh, jeez.
Oh,
I'm
Ahmed.
sorry.
Okay. Well, he's an Ahmed too.
Shush you, Gordon. He's a resident of a gay 27-year-old man, resident of a neighborhood of Gaza City. He told TPS News in a phone interview they had promised to hide his identity. The quote was, "Here in Gaza, under Hamas rule, it is better for you to convert to Judaism and leave Islam, and even better to be perceived as a spy for the Israelis and not declare you're gay. Hamas may hang you from the lower part of your body."
Wow.
This guy was saying that it would be better to be caught as an Israeli spy. You'd be treated better
Wow.
than if you come out as gay. They're saying they're going to do terrible things to you if you come out as gay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, gays, lesbians, transvestites, trans movement, all of the LGBTQ movement and their flags and everything, what they follow is completely against Sharia law. Like, Sharia law is very harsh on these people. A man behind the curtain, put up that one picture of this is just a rule and lists of different Sharia law towards gay men. Okay, now this isn't even dealing with women, which we'll talk about women as we go, but this actually connects to the women part too, right?
Yeah.
It says treatment of gay men by Palestinian Authority. So the Palestinian Authority is following Sharia law. Okay, they are Islams who are following Sharia law. First one, Palestinian Authority police arrest and torture gay men. This is in their law. This is a law they have to torture.
Or at the very least, they got no protections against it.
The Palestinian families organize vigilant mobs to beat and kill gay men. That's ridiculous. Like, this is part of their law. This is, if you're walking around in society, this is the law you have to follow.
Yeah, the families will do this because they feel that homosexuality or being trans or whatever is a shame on their family. And in order to be rid of that shame, they either got to have the person that is involved in that lifestyle either be dead and gone or somehow gone.
This is one of the worst. Terrorist groups pressure gay Palestinians into becoming suicide bombers to purge their moral guilt. Now, you and me don't agree with gays, lesbians, and how they do that decision, but we don't want them to die, and we're not enforcing them to be brutally, tortured and pushed into being a suicide bomber.
I don't want them hurt in any way.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is Sharia law.
Yeah.
So how are you a LGBTQ? How are you part of the rainbow group? And you're supporting this?
Yeah. In Palestinian LGBTQ and gays, whatever it is, in Gaza are ostracized from society. Will lose the ability to hold a job or even get a job. The ability to have health care and any sort of legal protection, which they need, as we said, because they're often beaten, tortured, and murdered, sometimes by their own family, to erase the shame that they supposedly bring to their families.
So with all of this torture and pressure on not being gay, and all of the hate against them in Sharia law, why would anybody support the people that support Sharia law or follow Sharia law? It just, like you said, it's like, it's like a pig eating bacon, right? It's like, I'm not supporting this.
Well, that's the question, brother. I don't understand it. But here's the goofy thing about it is they're not only supporting Hamas, they're anti-Israel. But the thing is, in Israel, it's considered the most lenient or tolerant state towards LGBTQ people in all of the Middle East.
Yeah. So
LGBT people can live there, they can work there, they can get health care, they can get a job and keep a job. They have legal protections. Nobody can just beat them up or kill them or abuse them without the law coming down on them. These people can even participate in the Jerusalem Gay Pride Parade if they want.
Yeah, which is so it's almost like the dumb are leading the dumb to being more dumb. Like it doesn't. I can't even wrap my head around what this has to deal with. You supporting a group that doesn't even support you.
More, they don't just. It's not that they don't support them; they want them dead. I mean,
it's like a black person supporting the KKK.
Yeah, there you go. You're Black Klansman or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, gays and LGBTQ people actually seek from Gaza. They seek sanctuary in Israel. In Israel, and these idiots here in the United States are against Israel and they're pro Hamas. It makes no sense. It's idiocy. It's idiocy.
And I kind of want to go up to one of them and be like, do you even know what Sharia law is? And they'll probably scream in my face and say, Sharia law is for freedom or whatever. I don't know. That's what they're yelling all the time anyhow, right?
Yeah.
It's protesting for freedom when Sharia law is not free. It is not. You're tortured and beaten if you don't follow it.
Yeah. At the very it's not something that provides freedom for them.
I mean, I have to say this just because it's on my heart to say it, but these two things are nowhere close, but people want to protest for the LGBTQ being part of Palestine and for Palestine when Palestine would kill you and torture you and murder you. But as a Christian, as someone who follows the scriptures, I feel for the Christians over there because the Christians over there are also getting persecuted and beaten for following against Sharia law, following against the Quran. And, so we're not alike, but we're kind of alike in this, is that Sharia law hates both of us.
Yeah, I don't think a Christian would do well to live in Gaza.
No way.
But, I mean, that's with a lot of Middle Eastern nations, or Arabic nations. But, I mean, it's not just that though. There's also you have these Western women, progressive women, young people in general, but progressive women converting to Islam because of this conflict for some unknown reason. It's a trend on TikTok now. They're wearing burqas and reading from the Quran and professing their love for Islam, and this makes no sense.
Yeah, it makes no sense because the Sharia law.
Sharia law.
I mean, people talk about how Christians and the Bible, which it doesn't, but preaches and teaches that women are under men and have to, you know, be they're treated like livestock. Well, you know nothing about Sharia law then, because Sharia law actually treats them like property. They can be married off to anybody they want. They have to follow and be next to a man somewhere. If it ain't their dad, then it's um, their boyfriend who has to marry them. And then if the guy doesn't even like her anymore, then boom, you can take her.
Well, a mother could be escorted by her son too, which is ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. This is, it's like this is another thing. Why now? The only thing with women is that there's probably a lot of women that have grown up in a Muslim society, and so for them it's natural to like just fall into the culture, I guess, what they grew up in. But that doesn't make you want to be in it. It just makes you like, this is what I've always known, right?
Well, apparently these gals want to be part of this. Hey, look, they just don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're asking. Half of Palestinian women and 63% of Palestinian men believe that wives should have to tolerate domestic violence. If your husband wants to beat you, you have to tolerate that.
Wow, that's terrible.
And
on so many levels.
And then if you look at less than 14% of Palestinian women work. That's what that also ties them to their husbands. They can't leave or else they won't eat.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're not going to be a boss babe in Gaza or the West Bank if that's something that you want to be as a feminist and as a young woman.
Yeah, you can't really do anything over there other than serve a man.
Right. If you did leave your husband, you'd have okay. That could get you in a lot of trouble. Yeah. But you have no right to marriage property, for instance. Like you're not going to get half the house. You're not going to get any of the house. You're just going to get gone.
I read that if you are a woman and a man rapes you, okay, and you can't prove the rape, that you're punished for accusing the man of sexual immorality.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's bizarre.
It's there's no rights for them, and they are treated like property. And once again, why would you want to be under this? Why would you want to support this? Yeah. It just makes no sense.
Yeah, and if you're a woman and you're getting married, you better hope you first off you better get to know your husband to be's family really well, because if your husband dies, you're likely going to end up marrying his brother or one of his cousins or maybe his uncle. I mean, that's the way that's going to go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but you know what? Chucky, bring up number 3, please.
Anybody else tired of these racist lib protesters who are just ruining everything for the rest of us? At some point, we're all going to just start chanting, lock 'em up. Which, if you're in the middle of Manhattan and you get booed as a left-winger, that's saying something.
For Palestine and planet, liberation. Palestine and planet. Yeah, hold the top. For Palestine, liberation. Free Palestine! From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. They're clean town. Shut up.
Please keep doing this. You're actually moving everyone to our side.
What did you just make me see, Sean?
All right, that's from Benny Johnson. He's a fantastic conservative commentator. I suggest everybody check out that channel. What we saw there was, again, this is kind of summing up what we're saying. You have various young liberal progressive types gluing themselves to the ground, throwing paint on themselves. And they have every cause that you can think of on there. Everything from racism to capitalism to colonialism to, I don't know, Manichaeism or something. I don't know.
It's hard to wrap your mind around what that is, but we can just simplify it and say stupid people doing stupid things in front of a bunch of people so they see how stupid they are, right?
Yeah. The only thing, here's what I can figure is that these are privileged, educated young people. They're brought up in a society that tells them, progressive people, culture telling them that no matter what you do or what you say or what you believe, you're wonderful, you're perfect. You get a trophy for coming in last place. No matter what you do or what you say, everything's great. Now, if you want to be really cool and rebellious in that, how would you rebel against that? You can't.
Yeah, well, it's not only that, it's the people from an area and a culture that thinks it's okay to protest on everything and anything that you disagree with. Whatever happened to the time period where, okay, someone's doing something over there I don't agree with, I just shut my mouth. Like, why can't I just be quiet on it? Why do I have to make this whole big showcase and glue myself to a street, so that people see that I disagree with something that I have no part of and I don't even know the full extent of, because once again, Sharia law would have killed those guys. They would have tortured those guys.
It would be great if these people actually had a point. If they came up with some kind of point that was logically consistent and reasonable.
Well, their point is free Palestine.
Free Palestine
from the river to the sea.
But I mean, if everything my point is that if everything that you do is right and good and all that, as they've been taught, how do you rebel? How do you become somebody special who's standing up against the man when the man tells you you're perfect and everything's right? Well, one way you could step towards doing that is support a murderous terrorist group and then convert to Islam and start wearing a burqa. That may shake this. That may be a good way to get dad ticked off at you, and it might be a good way to say screw you to society. And I think that's sort of what it's about.
Yeah, at the same time, I mean, the one of the reasons why we brought this topic to you guys is because it's stupid people doing stupid things on a topic that is actually very important, on a topic that is actually dealing with murder and war and, war crimes and all this type of stuff. And they want to take the very sensitive, very important matter and put it to their liking. What do I want to fight for? Well, I want to fight for my hat is too tight. So I'm going to tell everybody that Palestine's for all men whose hat is too tight. It's like this is how it is. It just becomes a big snowball effect of stupidity. And then when you try to stop it, they'll be like, "How dare you try to stop me?" Well, I was trying to actually stop you way back there because you started off on a terrible note. This isn't something you support.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons we bring this to you, like I said, it's kind of a second episode on the Israel war, but it's not dealing with the Israel war so much. It's kind of like the aftermath, and we just wanted you to kind of see what's going on around it. That's why we decided to do another one about it a little bit. But go back to our last episode, the deal with the Hamas and the war in Israel, and check on the information we have. Check on research yourself and understand some of the stuff that's going on, why people are doing this stuff. It just makes it better, right?
Right. And if you like our content, please leave a like and subscribe.
Yes, please do.
This out there.
Before we go, we always have our quote of the day. And so our quote of the day today is from Edith Sitwell. She was a British poet in the early 1900s. And when I saw this quote, I'm like, this fits perfectly for this episode, right? Her quote was, "I am patient with stupidity, but not with those who are proud of it." right?
Love it, man.
That's awesome.
I love it.
So if you guys like our episodes, please like and subscribe, and we will be seeing you next week with more episodes of Son of Thunder.